So if you are, feel free to turn on the audio. We don't have a ton of people here, so if you would like to interject, feel free to turn on your audio and talk. You don't have to be shy. But also, please don't hesitate to mute yourself if you have loud children or husbands in the background, because we all work from home and we all know what it's like. So, hi, I'm Marissa, for those of you that don't know me, and Jamie is here with us as well. Jamie is actually driving home from a meeting right now and is joining us from her car, but she is so dedicated that she is actually going to lead a meeting while she's driving. So let's all hope that she doesn't get into an accident, and Jamie's actually going to get us started, I think. So Jamie, whenever you are ready, whenever I can get my PowerPoint to progress.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jamie Bond, and I think I'm the newest team leader on the team. I promoted March 1st, which was super exciting. So I definitely know how you guys feel and where you're at. I remember very vividly how my month 1 and month 2 went. So first of all, we just wanted to start. I think we're talking about overcoming some obstacles to promoting tonight. So the first one, and Marissa, thank you so much ahead of time for running the presentation for me since I am not able to. So the first thing that we need to talk about is the rule of, I call it the rule of threes. Actually, it's the rule of thirds. And this is important for a couple reasons. First of all, just as a review of one of our other calls, remember you have a couple hurdles that you have to get to become a team leader, right? So you have to have 3 success-bound recruits and 3 active recruits. And for me, those were the same 3 people. They don't have to be, but that's how it works most of the time, I believe. And then you also have to hit 750 in personal sales, that's net sales, for month 1 and month 2. And your group has to be at $2,000 in net sales for month 1 and month 2, and your 750 counts for that. So the rule of thirds applies when you're talking about your success-bound recruits. So if you need 3 success-bound recruits, how many recruits do you think you need to find? How many team members does it take? Any guesses? I don't know who's on, so I can't call you out by name.
We have Melissa and Aaron on right now, and I can see the chat, so I'll let you know if anybody is chatting.
Okay, thank you. 10. Who said 10? Okay.
I think that was Melissa.
Hi. Hello, Melissa. So 10 is close. Actually, and you might need that, but you're going to need probably at least 9 people on your team to hit those requirements. And so the way that works is a third of your team are going to be your rock stars, right? If you have 9 people, a third of that is 3. So your 3 rock stars are your success-bound people that are going to do great. You can count on them every month. Hopefully, one of them is going to be wanting to promote too, which, hey, wouldn't that be cool if you could promote together? Then you're going to have a third of your team that's going to be, you know, active and consistent, but maybe they're not the people you can count on every month to hit HOC 1 or HOC 2, whatever it is. And then you're going to have a third of your team that just maybe they join to get the kit. Maybe they join and they're active, and then something happens in their life that pulls them away from us for a while. You never know what that is. But again, a third of your team is always going to be rock stars active, a third of your team consistent, but you can't count on them, and then a third of your team you really can't count on at all. So does that make sense? And again, the goal is going to be to get at least 9 team members under you. Questions about that?
Can I interject something here too? The rule of thirds that I have heard, and I heard this from our Leader Success training, which once you guys promote, you will all be given a Leader Success training program as well. It's sort of like the consultant success program, but it's for leaders. And the way that it's described in that program is probably geared more towards leadership, but it's described as at any given time, in your central group, 1/3 of your central group will be coming in, will be just brand new and joining and getting trained. 1/3 of your central group will be active and working and know what they're doing. And 1/3 of your central group will be on their way out and not doing anything. So you're really, at any given point, and this is the same thing Jamie's saying, at any given point, you only have 1/3 of your team that is really core, that you're depending on. So you always want to be recruiting, just like she's saying, 3 times what you actually need.
That's a perfect lead-in, Marissa, because it's definitely important. After you become a team leader, there's different standards and goals you have to hit each month to continue to be a team leader. So that's perfect. And just to echo what we both said, just remember that you always have to continue recruiting and working so that you can cover your numbers, basically. So speaking of numbers, that's the next thing. And so your monthly sales, your personal monthly sales, are just as important as making sure that you're building a great team under you. So again, for month 1 and month 2, your personal sales have to hit at least that 750 net. So if you're doing home and Facebook parties only, that's $1,000 in retail sales because you take out your 25% commission. So what do your calendars look like? Do you just have one event planned and you're hoping and praying for more? Or do you have something scheduled each week? Do you have any events where you can maybe get a ton of contacts? I know that's where I got a lot of my first contacts was, just a booth that I did. But I was able to get like 30 or 40 really good leads from that, and that propelled my business. And actually, that was September 27th, was my first booth ever, and I'm still doing parties that have booked from parties from that initial booth. So keeping those contacts, creating those contacts is so important. So again, what do your calendars look like? What are your personal sales goals for the month? Because that's another thing that you're going to have to keep up with after you do become a team leader. I think Marissa and I were chatting about this earlier. I, March 1st, became a team leader, and I was like, okay, I have to help my team now. And I kind of forgot about my personal calendar, and I've taken myself in the rear because my goal each month is to hit HOC 2, which is Home Office Challenge 2, $1,500 in net sales, and I didn't hit it last month, and it's my own fault because I focused on, helping all my new girls with their Facebook parties and everything, and forgot to book my own. So don't fall into that trap if you can help it. And like I said, keep your calendars full, especially in month 1 and 2, but then even afterwards, always think about what you're going to do next. Make sense? Did you have anything to add, Marissa?
No, I think you did great.
Perfect.
I think that a lot of team leaders do exactly what you did. I did that too. I promoted and I was like, whoo, I've arrived and now I'm going to help my team. And I basically took a month off, and it was dumb. I mean, I didn't take a month off intentionally, but I didn't have anything on my calendar, and I was so focused on helping my team that my sales suffered because of it. So I think it's a common trap.
Yeah. Well, and your paycheck suffers too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which is part of the reason you're promoting, hopefully. I know that was a big factor for me. So, okay, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is mindset. So it's really important that you stay positive and stay focused the whole time while you're trying to promote, and even after, obviously. When you're a team leader with the company, you're somebody that everybody's going to look to as an example, and so we need to be the ones out there promoting and always being positive and, you know, just setting a great example for everybody else. However, when you're working really hard to promote and something happens to detour that, it's really easy to get in your own way and get bummed, you know? And you definitely, I don't know, my personal motto is, like, take time to mourn that. Let yourself be mad or sad or whatever, but then get it out of your system, because you don't have time to sit there and feel sorry for yourself about your home party that canceled last minute, or your Facebook party that, oh my gosh, there were 20 people there and nobody's ordered. What the heck happened, right? It happened. Let it happen. Like I said, mourn the moment and then move on, because you are going to be a team leader June 1st. So you need to keep your eye on the prize and focus on, you know, what that glory is and what it's going to bring to you. And the other thing is, we have a great group of team leaders in the Literacy League, and we really are a team. I really have appreciated that so much since joining that elite group on March 1st. And we really need to lean on each other and help each other. So, Melissa, I know you're on Joy's team, and I think it was Aaron that was on the call. I don't remember whose team you're on, but use your team leader, but also don't hesitate to reach out to any of us team leaders for help and support, because I guarantee you that one of us, at least one of us, has been in your exact same situation at one time or another throughout our careers with Usborne. And so we can tell you what works for us to, you know, get out of that funk and move on and even create an opportunity out of it. A great example, I had a booth this weekend, and I drove an hour away for it, and there were supposed to be like 200 to 300 people, and I was really excited because I was going to get all these contacts, right? Unfortunately, there were maybe 50 people that came, other than the vendors that were there. I did sell like $150, so that was really good. But instead of sitting there and feeling sorry for myself, I went around, I networked with all the other vendors, and then I also, you know, worked with the contact, I guess, the person who set up the whole event, and I was like, please, you guys still need to raise money, because it was a fundraiser booth, actually, for autism. And so we're doing an online fundraiser right now. And she's sending out invites and, you know, crazy information to like 1,000 people on her Facebook friend list. And we're going to turn it into like a Facebook party online fundraiser thing. And so there's always a way to turn something to a positive. It's kind of the point of that story. Who knows what will happen with it, but at least we're trying.
Mm-hmm. That's a great story, Jamie. Like, the only way that you could have made that a worthless day would be if you had decided that it was a worthless day. Absolutely. And you hadn't done anything with it.
And I felt that for about 5 minutes when I felt sorry for myself. But then we changed it.
Awesome. All right, so I can't get, come on, PowerPoint, you can do it. Let's go. All right, so we also want to talk a little bit about the balancing act that is balancing your personal life and your UBAM life, because when you're working from home, it's really easy to work too much or to work too little. I think most of the time when we're working to promote, the danger is more working too much than working too little. And we don't want you to get completely overwhelmed and to burn yourself out and give up because you're like, oh, I can't keep doing this. I'm working too hard. It's overwhelming. We don't want you to work hard. We don't want you to work hard. We want you to work smart, or not harder, smarter. So really what we need to do is make sure that you're setting the proper priorities and make sure that you're working smart events, not hard events. You can talk to your team leaders about what types of events are worthwhile to do. We will all tell you that home shows give you the most money in your pocket and the highest sales with the least amount of time put into them. Home shows are the bread and butter of this business because you can do what Jamie did last weekend and spend all day at an event. You can drive an hour to get there and set up and spend all day there and then have to tear down and drive an hour to get home. And she spent all day there and she had $150 in sales and she made some really great connections, don't get me wrong. Or you can do what I did last weekend and have 2 home parties where I drove a half an hour to get there, tops. One of them was really close to me. And I spent about 15 minutes setting up. And I spent 2 hours at the party and then about a half an hour tearing down and talking to the hostess and drove home. And I had about $300 to $400 in sales at the party. So, and you have a higher commission rate at home parties. So keep in mind that the types of events that you're doing will have a direct effect on how much work you're doing. You also want to set your priorities in terms of how much you're willing to work, how much of your family time you're willing to sacrifice for work, and how much of your work time you're willing to sacrifice for family, because it does go both ways. Make sure that you're setting office hours. This will be very important when you promote, because when you promote, you will be responsible for training. Now, I'm not saying that when you promote, you're immediately your team leader is going to be, okay, you're your team now, good luck. That's not the way it's going to be. We're still going to help you. But you will eventually be responsible for training your central group and all of your personal recruits. So you're going to have people that you're responsible for training, and they're going to be calling you for guidance. If you do not have set office hours, they're going to be calling you and messaging you at all hours of the day, and you're going to feel like you have to respond at all hours of the day. When you have office hours, you can say, okay, great, so send me a list of what you need, and I'll get back to you during my office hours. And make sure that you're keeping sight of what's really important in your life. If it's really important to you that you sit down and you have a family dinner every single night, don't set team calls during family dinner. Don't schedule home parties during family dinner. If it's really important to you that you are able to pick your kids up from preschool every day and come home and have lunch with them and then have some quiet time with them before you do some work, don't set your office hours during lunchtime. You are the master of your ship, so make sure that what you are doing is the right balancing act for you, because not everyone has the same priorities. So think really hard about what your personal priorities are and make sure that everything that you're doing is upholding what's important to you. And that's not to say that you have to be completely rigid about it, because there are times that you might have to compromise, and that's understandable. But whatever you do, you need to make sure that you're happy with your business, because you want to keep doing it, and we want you to keep doing it. Do you have anything to add to that, Jamie? I think she muted herself.
I did. Perfect, actually. Just from a personal standpoint, the mistake that I fell into, and I think you mentioned a lot of people do, is working too much. When I was trying to promote, I was like killing myself trying to get everything done, and I work full-time outside the home too. So unfortunately, my family really suffered, and that wasn't fair to them. So what I would encourage you to do is make sure that you have that conversation with your family ahead of time if you haven't already, and set your hours like Marissa said. Make sure that it's fair and that they agree to it, so that they know, especially if you have little ones, hey, this is mommy's Usborne time, and they know not to interrupt you. And then when it's their time, you have to give them that same respect, that it's their time, and you're not going to take an Usborne call or an Usborne text until it's mommy's Usborne time. So I think that's one of the lessons I learned the hard way. And like I said, I wasn't fair to my family at first. So I would suggest that you have that conversation and just make sure that you don't fall into that same trap, basically. And the other thing is, it's temporary. So it takes you 2 months to promote. After that, yes, you're a team leader and you have that responsibility of your team, but it's not as, I don't think it's as much pressure. I don't know how you feel, Marissa, but I feel like everything's okay now. I can breathe again after I promoted. So.
You know, it's funny, after having been a team leader for a while, I kind of feel now like I'm actually I'm doing the same amount of events and the same amount of sales now as I was doing when I was working to promote, and I don't find it as stressful now. There are weeks when I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy this week. Why did I overschedule myself like this? But it's not the same level of stress that I had when I was working to promote. And I think it's more just that I'm just like more efficient at it and better at it now. And so I feel like the crazy few months of promoting, and for me it was more than 2 months, just so you all know, if it takes you more than 2 months to promote, don't feel bad. It takes many, many, many people more than 2 months to promote, and it's perfectly okay. You're still going to be a wonderful team leader when you promote. But those few months that it took me to promote, I feel like were really good training for when I was promoted and was a team leader, and now I have to balance my own business and, you know, training my team as well, and being there for my team as well. Okay, so sometimes when we are working to promote, we have this vision of how it's going to happen, and things don't always go as planned. My April, I had 4 home parties booked and all this crap going on. My April was packed to the gills, and I had 2 of those home parties had to reschedule, one of them because she ended up having to travel for work on the weekend that it was booked, and one of them because her mother has been suffering from Alzheimer's for the last 13 years, and she became really, really, really unwell and actually just passed away yesterday. So they were both legitimate reasons. It's not like these hostesses had just flaked out, and I have very good working relationships with both of these hostesses, and but it doesn't take away the sting of me being like, now I have to replace that money, because I was counting on that to hit my home office challenge too and get that coach purse. Or when I was working to promote, I had a recruit who was actually a really good friend of mine, a fellow librarian, who joined, and she was fantastic. She was one of my rock stars, and she was going to do really great. And I was counting on her to be one of my success bounds, and she ended up not being able to work the business after she did, I think, 2 or 3, maybe 2 parties. She did her own kickoff party and then like a Facebook party, I think. And she got really close to success bound and then had to stop working the business because her library was unionized, and her HR person told her that she could not have this position because it had the appearance of impropriety, and it was against their contract for her to work in a business that could potentially sell to the library. So this is all just to say that there are going to be things like that pop up that you feel like, oh, it's the end of the world, that was my success bound, how am I going to do it? Or now I have to make up those sales, what am I going to do? And when that happens, it's okay. We will help you. Call your team leader. If your team leader is not available, call another team leader. Leave a message on Literacy League or the Leader Launch Group. We will help you work through it. It will all be okay. It does not mean that your dreams of promoting have come to an end. It just means that we have to come up with a slightly altered game plan. I feel like I had more to say with that, and now I don't remember what it was. So, Jamie, do you have anything to add to that?
Just remember to lean on your team leader and or the other leaders in Literacy League, because we really, like I mentioned earlier, all of us have probably, one of us at least, has been in that exact same position. So we can speak from experience to tell you how we got out of it and how we were able to fix it and turn it into a positive.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just keeping that positive mindset, because like I said, take a minute, mourn whatever happened, feel sorry for yourself, but then get it out of the way so that you can move on and get moving again, because you don't have time to waste sitting there feeling sorry for yourself.
Yep. If I'm the person that you call, I will go, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. That sucks so much. Pause. Now here's what we're going to do. Because that's what you got to do. Just like Jamie's saying, you mourn it and then you come up with a game plan and you move on. All right. Now, we have said this a million times, but you are not alone. You have a whole team of team leaders that are here to help you. So make sure that you are talking to your team leader regularly, not just while you're working to promote, but after you have promoted. Your team leader is still your team leader. They still want to help you. They still want to help everyone underneath you. So keep in mind that they've been a team leader for longer than you. They might, still have some guidance to offer you. So make sure that you're keeping in touch with your team leader. Make sure that you're keeping in touch with all your US buddies, either on Literacy League or outside of Literacy League. One of the best ways to meet some new people, or even just meet people in Literacy League that you haven't met yet, is to go to convention. So if you are not registered for convention yet and you have those dates available and you can go, please, please, please register. It will be such an amazing, transformative experience for you. You will feel differently about your business after you leave. You will look at it, if you don't look at it as a business now, and I hope that you do since you're working to promote, but if you don't look at it as a business now, you will look at it as a business after you leave convention. Melissa, you were at convention. Would you be willing to unmute yourself and talk a little bit about your experience at convention last year?
Sure. Well, I was going to wait till you, stopped the recording, but I'm a little emotional right now, so I don't know if I'll be able to talk, but I love what you guys are saying. Like, you're really getting to me, but anyway. Yeah, the atmosphere was amazing, like, just motivational in itself. The speakers were awesome. Meeting everybody on the team makes it feel like a little bit more real. Just stuff like that. Is that what you're...
Yeah. For me, it gave me more of a sense of community. Last year was my first convention. I've only been with the company for a year and a half, So it's not like I'm an old timer, but it gave me more of a sense of community. You get to meet Randall White and Heather Cobb, which is pretty freaking cool. And I feel like you just have a better vibe for what our company is and what our company stands for and what an amazing machine we belong to in this company. It's a pretty freaking bare bones machine, and what our company accomplishes for how small they are and how much they care and how much they put into everything that they do, it's really amazing to me. All right. Jamie, do you have anything to add to that?
I do not.
Okay. So, soon you will see this posted in Literacy League, post it on your timelines, post it everywhere you can think of. I'm going to stop the recording now, and if you guys have any questions,